The moment my boss caught me staring at her, my heart dropped so hard it felt like the entire office must have heard it. It wasn't supposed to happen. I wasn't the kind of guy who stared at people, especially not at someone like her. But that morning, something was different. The sunlight coming through the tall glass windows of the office cafe reflected softly on her face as she stood there holding a small paper cup of coffee. For a brief second, the world around me felt slower, quieter, and that was the exact moment she looked up and caught me. Her eyes locked onto mine. I quickly looked away, pretending to check something on my phone, but I knew it was too late. She had seen me. My mind instantly filled with panic. In a company where professionalism meant everything, getting caught staring at your boss was probably the fastest way to destroy your reputation. I imagined the worst possible outcomes: awkward meetings, cold silence, maybe even a warning from HR. The thought alone made my stomach twist. Before we continue this story, if you enjoy emotional and meaningful stories like this one, please take a moment to like this video, comment your thoughts, share it with someone who loves storytelling, and subscribe to the channel Stories Beyond the Porch. Your support helps these stories reach more people who need them. That morning continued like every other workday on the surface, but inside my mind, nothing felt normal anymore. I tried to focus on spreadsheets, emails, and project reports, but my thoughts kept replaying that moment in the cafe. Her calm expression, the way she looked at me, not angry, not confused, just quietly observant. It made me feel even more uneasy. I had only been working at the company for 8 months. Before that, life had been messy and unpredictable. I grew up in a small town where opportunities were limited, and most people spent their lives doing the same jobs their parents did. Getting hired here felt like the first real step toward changing my life. Losing this job wasn't an option. My boss, on the other hand, seemed like someone who belonged in a completely different world. She carried herself with quiet confidence, the kind that made people automatically respect her. She wasn't loud or intimidating, but when she spoke in meetings, everyone listened. Even the senior managers respected her judgment. Over the months, I had noticed small things about her: the way she always arrived early, the way she helped interns understand their tasks instead of brushing them off, the way she stayed late sometimes, staring out of the office windows as if she carried invisible responsibilities no one else could see. But noticing someone and staring at them were two very different things. Around lunchtime, I stepped outside the building to get some air. My mind felt heavy, like I was carrying something I couldn't explain. The parking lot was mostly empty, and a cool breeze moved through the trees near the entrance. I leaned against the railing and tried to convince myself that maybe I was overthinking everything. Maybe she had already forgotten about it. Maybe it wasn't even a big deal. The rest of the afternoon passed slowly. I avoided the executive floor where her office was located, choosing instead to stay buried in my tasks. When the clock finally reached the end of the workday, I felt a wave of relief wash over me. I packed my bag quickly, hoping to leave before running into anyone important. But as I stepped outside the building, my feet suddenly froze. She was standing there. My boss was leaning lightly against the railing near the entrance, holding the same calm expression she always had. The soft golden light of the evening sun surrounded her, and for a moment I wondered if my tired mind was imagining things. But she was real, and she was clearly waiting. My heart began pounding again, even louder than it had that morning. 100 thoughts rushed through my mind. Was she going to confront me? Was she upset? Did I accidentally offend her? The silence between us felt heavier with every second. I walked toward the parking lot slowly, unsure if I should acknowledge her or pretend I didn't notice. But just as I passed by, she looked up again. Our eyes met for the second time that day. There was no anger in her expression. No disappointment either. Instead, there was something unexpected, something thoughtful, almost gentle. And in that moment, I realized something that confused me even more than being caught staring. She hadn't come outside to confront me. She had come outside to talk. That evening changed everything. What started as an awkward moment slowly turned into a conversation that neither of us expected. At first, it was simple and professional questions about work, about how I was adjusting to the company, about the projects I was handling. But as the minutes passed, something shifted. She wasn't just asking questions. She was listening, truly listening. For the first time since I joined the company, someone at that level seemed genuinely interested in the story behind the employee badge I wore every day. And slowly, carefully, I began sharing pieces of my life, the small town I grew up in, the struggles my family faced, the long nights I spent studying just to earn the chance to be here. To my surprise, she didn't interrupt or judge. Instead, she understood. As the sky darkened and the parking lot lights flickered on, I realized something unexpected about the woman everyone in the office saw as confident and unshakable. She carried her own quiet battles too. Over the following weeks, that brief conversation outside the building began changing the way I saw my workplace. My boss wasn't just a leader who gave instructions and evaluated performance. She became someone who believed in potential, someone who noticed effort even when no one else did. She began trusting me with bigger responsibilities. Projects that once felt impossible slowly became opportunities to prove myself. The fear I once carried every day slowly transformed into motivation. But the most important change wasn't professional. It was personal. That moment when she caught me looking had forced me to confront something I had been avoiding my entire life: my lack of confidence. I had always believed that people from small beginnings were meant to stay small, but she didn't see me that way. And sometimes, the greatest gift someone can give you is not money or opportunity. Sometimes the greatest gift is belief. Months later, as I stood in the same office cafe where everything started, I realized how much had changed. The nervous employee who once avoided eye contact had become someone who spoke confidently in meetings and led projects with determination. But the memory of that moment never faded. The moment my boss caught me looking, and instead of judging me, she waited outside. If this story touched your heart and reminded you that one small moment can change someone's life, please take a moment to like this video, share it with someone who needs inspiration today, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to Stories Beyond the Porch. And before this story ends, I have a special request for you. Please comment one line below this video.